There's also one thing I thought Mikel Arteta could have done to help the Arsenal team, which was he should have played in a particular way, which would have made Saka get to the end of those big chances they had. When Dembele is pressing, when they are pressing 4-1-4-1, that is PSG, when they are pressing 4-1-4-1, man-to-man marking. Dembele, when he's pressing from one side, he moves his body in a particular way that obstructs the passing lane of the goalkeeper to one of the centre backs. So the goalkeeper has only two options, either to kick the ball into play very long or pass the other centre back. Welcome to 90 Plus Tactics with Saint Gyampoh, as we go through a tactical review of Arsenal versus PSG game that transpired yesterday. It was a nice football game. I enjoyed it because there were a lot of things occurred which I want to mention out to you. Join me as you go through this game tactically. As I mentioned yesterday that the two teams will create chances, there will be spaces. What I envisaged came true. And one interesting thing that occurred was that our probable lineup for the game came through, and then what we expected also came through. Just that there were one or two things we felt the managers could have done. On the side of Mikel Arteta, the manager for Arsenal, I thought he could have done more to help his team. I felt he would have helped his team by allowing the team to play in a particular way so that those chances would have fallen to the best players who are clinical in front of goal. But then it didn't happen that way. Though they created a lot of chances on the side of PSG, I like the way they started the game. Many things occurred. Let's go into it proper. So as I spoke to you yesterday about the lineup, yes, Arsenal began with David Raya in post. He was very good yesterday. I like his performance. He saved one of Desire's shots, and I was very impressed with his performance. And the likes of Timber, he played Timber at right back. At left back was Luis Skelly. At centre back, Jacob Kiwior partnered William Saliba. The three-man midfield made up of Declan Rice, Mikel Merino, and Odegaard. In the front three was Gabriel Martinelli, Leandro Trossard, who plays as a false nine, and Bukayo Saka. On the side of Paris Saint-Germain, it was Donnarumma in post. He had a very one. He was great yesterday. Donnarumma was very great. And then aside him at right back, Achraf Hakimi, the Moroccan, was played there. At left back, Nuno Mendes, very wonderful game yesterday. He played there. In central defense, it was Pachu and Marquinhos played together. In midfield, the midfield three of Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha, and João Neves, and the front three of Kvicha Kvaratskhelia, Bradley, Desire Doué, and then the guy who played up front, which was Osman Dembele, the goal scorer. Yeah, so there are some things I saw which sound very interesting, very fascinating. I would like to set out to you. So on the side of Arsenal missing Thomas Partey was another factor to how they played yesterday. In the first 20 minutes where PSG were very aggressive coming to Arsenal, I felt Arsenal needed that kind of Partey vibe where if Partey picks up the ball, he slows up the play, he determines where Arsenal play through. He's the anchor of their build-up. They missed him because Declan Rice's ability on the ball and technicality on the ball is not as good as Thomas Partey would do. So in the first half, there were sequences where Rice easily gave the ball away because he's not acclimatized to doing that playmaking. So in all that, I felt Arsenal's performance was also affected by the absence of Thomas Partey. There's also one thing I thought Mikel Arteta could have done to help the Arsenal team, which was he should have played in a particular way which would have made Saka get to the end of those big chances they had. I've always maintained this, and I'm going to maintain this. Maybe there will be a change in it. Martinelli and Trossard are not players we can trust more when it comes to finishing, because these two players are not really clinical as we expect them to be. And funny enough, all these big chances Arsenal created fell to them. So I thought Mikel Arteta would have allowed his team to play in a way, maybe the team movement on the ball, building up. He would have made the team move in a particular way so that there will be a particular switch to Bukayo Saka, isolated with Nuno Mendes, takes him on 1v1, and then he squares the ball into the back of the net. But in all, I also give PSG the thumbs up for doing that, because if you keep Saka at bay, it means there's a possibility that the big chances will fall to the wrong players who are not as clinical enough. Also, yesterday, Lewis Miles Kelly, I'll give him a shout out. Yeah, Miles Lewis Kelly was good. In fact, his movement from left back into midfield was one thing that I felt was very good for Arsenal. You see, also to mention, if I have forgotten, Thomas Partey's absence also limited Declan Rice a bit, because if you've realized Arsenal's games, when Thomas Partey is on the pitch, he gives Declan Rice the freedom to go forward. So you always see Declan Rice making a run into the channels between the right centre back and then the right back. So that pushes one central midfielder away, or the centre back is forced to follow him, which creates another space 1v1 for Martinelli all the time. But Partey's absence also made Declan Rice stay long. Yesterday, I didn't see more of Mikel Merino as I expected, because the PSG players were very aggressive on the ball. Even though, as we say, their midfielders lack physicality, they were very good. The likes of João Neves, Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz. I was marveled yesterday by their work rate, and I'll give that to Luis Enrique for making such a wonderful team out of that. On the side of Paris Saint-Germain, they did a lot of things that I would like to mention out. I'll begin with the first goal and the build up to the goal. So they made 5 passes. So the ball got to Dembele and he scored. Now, there was something in that sequence that I would like to point out. Though, as at 2 minutes 30 seconds, the ball was with Pacho. Pacho passed the ball to Nuno Mendes. Now, Bukayo Saka was forced to press Nuno Mendes. And then, while he was pressing Nuno Mendes, Timber was also following Kivicha Kvaratskhelia into that space, because Kvaratskhelia showed up for the ball. But there was one funny thing from midfield. João Neves deceived Declan Rice to follow him, creating a very large space for Dembele to pick. So Dembele, who was the number 9, moved up front and dropped into the center circle for the ball. So I was even surprised Nuno Mendes hit the ball right into the center circle for Dembele to pick. He made a run, passed the ball to Kivicha Kvaratskhelia, a back pass into the box, and Dembele with a nice finish. If you had realized, when João Neves showed up for the ball, went to Nuno Mendes, showed up for Nuno Mendes to give him the ball. When he was moving, Declan Rice followed him. So it was like he dragged Declan Rice out of that number 6 position he was supposed, and vacated that position, creating a very wide space. This is one of the things that Arsenal tried to do, going 1v1. That didn't help them. This is one of the things PSG do. And it was a nice goal from Dembele. I thought the level of PSG would have dropped immediately after they had scored the goal. I thought they would have gone pragmatic a little. But still, they came for Arsenal. And I love the battle between Timber and Kivicha Kvaratskhelia. Timber tried his best, but Kvaratskhelia got the best out of it. On the incident that happened, I thought it was a penalty, because when you check the image, he held him. I thought the referee should have checked. The VAR people didn't do a good job, because that ball should have been awarded a penalty for PSG. A foul on Kivicha Kvaratskhelia. PSG dominated the game for the first 20, 25 to 30 minutes. So Arsenal started gaining momentum. Then they had chance for Martinelli, as usual, 1v1 with Donnarumma. He missed. In all, I would say Arsenal were good with a high intensity. If that set piece goal had not been overruled by VAR, I thought Arsenal would have won the game, because that kind of momentum they brought into the game was very good. Let's give some thumbs up to some key players in the game. The first player I'll give a thumbs up to, the man of the match, who was awarded yesterday, Vitinha. His technical ability on the ball is so good. I love the guy when he picks out the ball. No matter how well you press, he's able to find space, maneuver, hold the ball, put the ball in between his legs. He positions his body in a particular way that allows him to find any pass. His body orientation is so good. Vitinha, I think the man of the match was what he deserved. After him, I would have given it to Gianluigi Donnarumma. Now, one funny thing for me is that I just find it funny if Donnarumma plays in England, or he plays an English team. Anytime he plays an English team in England, he becomes what people call the Buffon of Paris Saint-Germain. Yesterday, he was very, very good. Very, very good. Achraf Hakimi, as I said yesterday, the guy vacates the right back option, moves into that center forward channel, and he plays as a center forward. Meanwhile, he's a right back. On one occasion, there was a particular sequence where Louis Maskelly picked up the ball. He was leaving, and I saw him run from right back into midfield to take the ball from Maskelly, but unfortunately, he fouled the guy. And I was like, when he leaves, he's leaving Martinelli alone on that wing, which gives Arsenal an advantage. Not knowing, PSG form another back four where Nuno Mendes moves as a left centre back, allowing Kivicha Kvaratskhelia to come and defend for Bukayo Saka. Therefore, Marquinhos, who is the right centre backs, move wide to stand for Martinelli. And Hakimi is so fast, so he does that very well. Let's give him a thumbs up for Dembele was good yesterday. Desire Doué, he's one guy I want to give a mention. The guy was very, very good. Desire Doué, I think football is in safe hands because when you look at the likes of Lamine Yamal, Desire Doué, Kivicha Kvaratskhelia, these are young players who are upcoming, are playing very well. Bradley Barcola, all these guys define what the modern day winger should be. When he picks up the ball, he doesn't care if there are 2 or 3 people. He's always on the verge of a take one. He always wants to enter the box. His shots are perfect, and I love the guy. For me, on the Arsenal part, I'll give Louis Maskelly one of the best games he's played for Arsenal I've seen. I'll give Bukayo Saka also a thumbs up. He was good in the first and second half. He tried his best. Also, David Raya, the save from Desire Doué was good. In all, I would say Arsenal were good, PSG were good. It's a well-deserved win for PSG. It's all to play for at Parc des Princes. This is 90+ Course Tactics with Saint Gyampoh. Adios.